So this was the last point which we saw. Am I audible enough?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So objectives of business plan. Business plan, as we discussed yesterday, it's a roadmap. Now, when you are in the process of starting, when you are initiating your venture, then you need to have some foolproof plan with you. It's not that I had an idea and I just began. Hmm? Funds and all you have, or the provisions are there, but then uh, just like that we cannot begin with whatever business idea we have in our mind. It requires foolproof planning, and that foolproof planning, when it is written, this foolproof planning, when it takes shape, a physical shape, it is called as business plan. So whatever things you write down, whatever valid and appropriate things, with the help of planning we write down, it becomes business plan. So business plan basically provides us the direction. It evaluates the prospects of business, because in business plan we are doing external analysis, we are doing internal analysis. So external as in the environmental scanning we are doing. What would be my, who would be, what would be the effect of government policies, or what would be the effect of type of employment which is being observed in the area. So these things come under environmental, external environment, and that we do in environmental scanning. So business plan also evaluates the prospects of business. So any change in one of the parameters, one of the external or internal environments, definitely can affect our business. But then we give a foolproof thought when we prepare the business plan. It also helps us monitor the progress after implementation of the plan. Now, how we are monitoring the progress? We are uh, formulating the policies or tentative figures we have, the expected profit to be earned within 1 year, or out of 6 months, out after 12 months, 18 months period of time. So we can always monitor this progress. We can also persuade others to join the business. Maybe anyone in the family, of your family, who observes you that this is how my sister or my brother has performed, this was all the efforts which he put in. So this becomes a motivating factor, and they even persuade to join the business. So this was what we saw yesterday, roughly speaking. Now we are starting with preparation and evaluation of business plan. So how to prepare and how to evaluate the roadmap, the business plan. So this has got some 6 steps: preliminary investigation, idea generation, environmental scanning, feasibility analysis, project report preparation, evaluation, and evaluation control and review. Now this 5th step, that is this project report preparation, uh, itself includes few more steps. If we see, so these are the steps: cover sheet, table of content, summary, the business, and all. So it actually covers the project report, preparation of project report actually covers the most important part of our business plan or our business. But then this is how you prepare, or this is what the steps we follow when we are preparing the business plan. So let us begin with the first step of it, that is called as preliminary investigation. Now, what do we do? Before preparing the plan, this is the first step. So you have an idea, and you have given a thought, and you arrive at a conclusion that nothing doing, I am going forward and I will start this venture maybe within 6 months time or 1 year's time, and you start preparing, in the background you start preparing. But then when we say that we start preparing, meaning we are actually in this first step, and that is called as preliminary investigation. I have an idea to start online business of, uh, let's say, kids garments. Now I have this idea, but then I do investigate, in the sense that what all media should I use? Should I have a Facebook page of my business where every day I would post few of the things? Can I use LinkedIn also as a medium where I do promotion, or I do uh, put messages on my LinkedIn account saying that how these garment industry is changing. I'm like using LinkedIn as a medium to educate people, hmm, how it is not safe to go out in this current scenario and do shopping. So rather than going out, how can we sit at home and do kids shopping? So related stuff. So this is one way of creating awareness. So this is what I do in terms of preliminary investigation. So an entrepreneur, usually what does he do? He reviews the available business plan. If at all anybody, maybe internet comes here into picture, so I may take help of internet to find out how usually the business plans are made, what all sections or what all things are being included. So this is also I do when I do in the preliminary investigation. Then I draw key business assumptions on which the plans will be based. So I have few assumptions, or I have some key points, key figures in my mind based on which I'll prepare the plan. Like the same example of kids garment, if I have to continue, then how the such pandemic or such situations, how do they affect the business? How much we can say percentage of mothers who are working, how much that affects this change of society, where mothers are also going out and they are, when they go out and when they work, they have money to dispose it of. So they can take help of such online platforms available to go for such shopping behavior, to show this shopping behavior. So how much this women being more employed or working in maybe sector wise study I can do. And this becomes one such parameter or assumptions based on which I gather the information, which is being part of my preliminary investigation. uh, how much market is growing, how much response of people for such concept is there, is what I can check. Are you understanding? I am trying to give you a practical example. Along with that example, I am telling you the steps which we do in preliminary investigation. I hope you are understanding the link. Then so first step is I'll find out few of the plans which are available. Then I draw few of the conclusions or few of the parameters based on which I design the business plan, or I plan the things in the future. So after drawing those assumptions or parameters, or after taking into consideration the factors, then based on those factors, I do scan the external and internal environment, to see what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are, opportunities and threats. So this is how internal and external environment is divided into. Now, environment has got two types where we live in. So our house is an internal environment. So my strengths and weaknesses are like my house members. Those are present in me. Those are my plus points. Those are my weak points. So that is my internal environment. Things which are out of my control, just the passage or veranda or the terrace, uh, which is an outside of my house, becomes external environment, which over which I don't have any control. So whatever opportunities I may be grabbing or whatever threats I would be facing, I don't have any control. So that becomes the part of external environment. So whenever we say external and internal, this is how SWOT we divide into. Strengths and weaknesses form our internal part. Opportunities and threats become the external environments part. So this is how I assess myself, meaning I assess the internal and external environment in which I have to carry out my business. Wherever possible, the fourth step is wherever possible, I seek professional advice. wherever I find that I am weak in these areas, or I am unable to decide on this factor, maybe the legal angle is something, I need to take help of a legal professional, because all the laws pertaining to the business which I intend to start, I may not be knowing all the loops and holes of it. So definitely I have to take professional help in these areas. Now that help can be somebody from your near dear ones, maybe your friends, or from any relatives, or maybe a person who is already into the similar business, or simply a professional one. You can just pay him the necessary fees and you can seek his advice. So this is roughly what takes place in terms of preliminary investigation, and that is the first and foremost step of preparing and evaluating our business plan. Hmm. Yeah. Wait a minute. So after this preliminary investigation, then comes idea generation. Now, what do we mean by idea generation? I have a fair idea in my mind that this is what I have to start. And this is what is the first stage of the planning process. Now, this step is different, huh? Or the difference between an entrepreneur and businessman lies in this step, in terms of generating ideas. Now, how uh, we always attach, or we always have this notion that entrepreneur is the one who has uh, got this creative or creativity angle in him, or he is the one who is finding the innovative ways of carrying out the business. Hmm. Um, so it is not necessary to have the idea which is completely new. That is what an innovation is. You are not inventing something. You are not uh, finding something new for the first time. You are finding something new. It's not like that. We are only finding the newer ways. If I am using, let's say, the juicer to prepare the juice, it is said that in Punjab, it is the washing machine which they use to make the lassi. So this usage of washing machine for preparing lassi is an innovative way of carrying out business. It's a it is generally being, this example is generally being given in management classes, that this is how the innovation takes place. The function remains the same, how the juicer works and how the washing machine is working. Only difference is when I have to do it in bulk quantities, probably that is the only instrument available, and it will give me good results as well. So this becomes an example of innovation, and that is what an entrepreneur is involved into. A businessman would never think in such manner as the entrepreneur is thinking. So when we say that idea generation, usually the entrepreneur takes into consideration the sources of generating new ideas, like while talking to the customers, or while customers or consumers, while being in touch with existing companies, and knowing how they are performing through R&D, through research and development, talking to the employees or dealers or retailers. Now he can, these are actually the sources of generating new ideas. So I have roughly found that so and so is the venture which I wish to begin. But then to get more idea, to get innovative idea about the idea which I have in my mind, these are the sources which I use to generate the innovative and more such ideas. There are other methods of generating ideas as well. Hmm. Those methods are like brainstorming, reverse brainstorming, and brain writing. Now, brainstorming is we sit together and then Now this is part of total quality management, Japanese philosophies, this brainstorming and reverse brainstorming. So a day is allotted, and on that particular day, now this is, I'm talking in terms of organization, corporate. Now in corporates also, this practice is being followed, where the employees are told to sit together and they are being told to come up with some newer ideas. Now those newer ideas can be related to the product, related to the distribution, related to the promotion, or it could be related to anything the company deals with. Maybe if I have to find out ways of dealing with distributors, बहुत सारे झगड़े हो जाते हैं, they, these people don't listen, they have their own way of carrying out things, so I need to change this process. So what an innovative way can be found to tackle this distributor problem? So brainstorming can be used for this as well. So product, process, for anything, the brainstorming session is being used. So the employees are told to generate newer ideas, the ideas which appeal. एक कोई moderator होता है, या फिर there is a coordinator who conducts the session. Now, if a coordinator gets convinced about that idea, particular idea, the next step is to evaluate that idea. उसके आगे के steps होते हैं, then that idea is weighted, हम उसको क्या बोलते हैं, the idea is evaluated, and if it still has got something, then that idea can be developed. After developing the idea, if again it is being presented to the topmost people of the organization, and if they also believe in that developed idea, then it goes into the implementation again after fine tuning. So we are learning the idea generation point of preparation and evaluation of business plan. So these are ways of generating newer ideas. While carrying out the business also, usually I have this, let's say I have to figure out something. I have an idea in my mind that I want to start something in garment. Now, what can I do in garment? Then whatever I think is nothing but brainstorming. So I think of various lines. I think of starting business in various ways. And this process of thinking is nothing but brainstorming. Now, reverse brainstorming is, you are following the reverse way, that I find out how this idea cannot be worked out. So I go on canceling the options. So after cancellation, if one or two ideas remain with me, now those ideas can be developed further. So this is the way reverse brainstorming takes place. Also through group discussion, I can generate new ideas. Now this group discussion can take place uh, between me and my friends, or maybe with my family member, or with probably my colleagues, my relatives, or maybe I have a professional group who deals with such businesses, and I have joined them. So through social media, we have these discussions of what can be done further. And this is also one way of generating idea. Also, maybe the more in a more structured way, we can understand, or we can collect the data with the help of questionnaire, or by meeting the existing companies who are dealing in the same product, maybe talking to the dealers and talking to retailers as well. So this is like more first hand kind of information, unprocessed and unpublished data, first hand data, which you can collect with the help of these tools. Or by watching various advertisements or mail or the internet, maybe FB is very good example here. By looking at somebody's posts, you get you can have this idea in your mind. So these are some of the ways of generating ideas. Now, screening of these new ideas should be done so that the promising new ideas are identified, and the impractical, the ones who do not have anything further to be developed, those ideas can be eliminated. But this is how the ideas are generated. So after idea generation comes environmental scanning. So environmental scanning, as I said, environment is divided into two parts: internal, external. Internal is what which is within your control. External is what which is outside of your control. So my strengths and my weaknesses are internal to me. I may purposely work on my strengths to build them further. I may work on my weaknesses so that it can be eliminated or its intensity can be reduced, can be minimized. So these are called internal, or these strengths and weaknesses form the internal part of my behavior or internal part of the environment. As I said, on government policies, on fluctuations of currencies, recession. I don't have any control. What is happening in the global market? Maybe Nifty or Sensex are going down or going up. The market is crashing. I don't have any control as a consumer or as a citizen. So I just have to wait and watch, and accordingly, I have to change myself. So that comes in the external part of the environment. So we are at the idea generation stage, and after carefully eliminating all the impractical ideas, now I have few, let's say 2 or 3 ideas with me. Now I have to enter the next step, and that next step is I am now going to scan. I am now going to weigh each and every idea which I have or which I have in my mind. So once the idea emerges, through the idea generation phase, next is this environmental scanning, which is carried out to analyze the prospective strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the business enterprise. So when I say that my strengths and weaknesses, meaning it could be my business enterprise's strengths and weakness as well. Hence, before getting into the details of setting up business, it is advisable to scan the environment, both which is in your control and which is out of your control, and collect the information about the possible opportunities, threats, what are your strengths and weaknesses, etc. So different variables to be scanned are in terms of socio-cultural, economic, government, technological, demographic changes which are taking place in external environment. So as I said, the external environments meaning opportunities and threats. Now I can get opportunities and threats from change in socio-cultural environment. So in whenever we say environment, external environment, we are understanding this environment from various angles, like, or we are dividing this external environment into 4 to 5 different sub environment, जिसको बोलेंगे हम socio-cultural, economic, government, technological, and demographic. Now these are changing, and they are changing because of that they are affecting the business. Okay, so external environment, all right. So what effect this socio-cultural environment has on your idea? After fine tuning your idea, now you are scanning the environment, जिसमें हम लोग actually when we are going to enter. So before entering, I am just scanning. So while scanning, I found that the external environmental factors are there which I need to give due consideration. So what those external environmental factors are? First factor is socio-cultural appraisal. Socio-cultural appraisal, let me give you an example. The culture of Western countries and the culture of, let's say, Gulf countries, we find difference. The Western culture is quite free. The ideas are welcome there. or at least the chances of getting the ideas accepted are more, because the atmosphere, socio-cultural atmosphere is quite promising. Whereas Asian culture, or let's say the Gulf countries for that matter, they are little bit conservative or stubborn in nature. Even Indians are also little bit stubborn. Now the society is changing, but then still we respect the elders of the family. So we have this feeling in our mind that bade kya bolenge, log kya bolenge, kind of things are always there in back of our mind. So even though we are welcoming such changes, but then still chances are there, or still we have this conservative or stubborn nature in us. So if, for example, I begin the entrepreneurial venture by, bungee jumping, jo hote, kind of adventurous sports. I have something to do with such adventurous sports. Now, if I target the people from Western countries, chances are there that I'll get good response. But if I go to these Gulf countries, then really need to think how much uh, this bungee jumping kind of adventurous sports will be welcome by the citizens. So this is how the socio-cultural factor plays an important role. So this is what we have to understand, or we have to examine when we are understanding the external factors. So socio-cultural appraisal or socio-cultural factors. Then comes technological factor. Now this technological factor or environment, it assesses the various technological know-how available to convert the idea into a product. Um, let's say the person has an idea of manufacturing, let's say, tobacco free herbal cigarettes, which would not at all harm the health of the workers. Now, technological environment can assess whether the manufacturing of this kind of product is possible or not. Now, this can again be considered in socio-cultural atmosphere as well. But then I have to find out whether technologically it is possible or not. Now, if you, again, just the deviation from the topic, if you are, or if you have ever watched this OMG program on History Channel, क्या ये है मेरा India, then in that program, if you have if you have watched it maybe one or twice also, you'll find lots of such things which are challenged. We don't even think that this can be possible, manufacturing of so and so, or inventing something of this kind, innovating something of this kind can be possible. But yes, there are people, Indian citizens, who are dealing with such things. So that is what I'm trying to say here, that whenever you have an innovative product, so technologically whether it is possible to manufacture it or not is something also we need to check. So even though it's an innovative product, but technologically possible hai nahi hai is what we have to think, and then we have to go ahead. Economic environment, it assesses the status of the economy in a given society in terms of inflation, per capita income, consumption pattern, then various other parameters like balance of payment, consumer price index, and all. So basically, I am judging the soundness of the economy. Per capita income kitna hai? If it is high, then people have got more disposable income. Disposable income matlab after paying all your expenses, you are earning, and after paying all your expenses, maybe the loan or the necessary fees, rent, जो कि necessary expenses होते हैं, after paying out all these expenses, whatever money you have, you are using it for yourself, and that is called as disposable income. So when this per capita income is high, after paying these necessary expenses, I can have more amount left with me. If the per capita income is less, Whatever I'm earning, let's say my monthly income is 40,000. After paying rent, after paying electricity bills, or maybe other expenses, electricity, then household expenses are there, vehicle loan would be there, home loan would be there. So after paying all these dues, it is only 10,000 which I can save. So out of this 10,000, I cannot imagine that I can go for a foreign trip maybe after 1 year's time. I don't think, because even after paying these fees or paying these necessary expenses, I still need to have that much of money which I can keep aside, which I can invest for such things. So that is why when we are assessing the economy of a particular country, these are all the things which we take into consideration. So inflation kitna hai, per capita income, how much it is there, how is the consumption pattern. Now again, the Western countries, um, their way of thinking and their way of living is different than ours. Whenever a boy or a girl, in Indian scenario we are discussing, is when he or she starts earning, the advice which is being given to him or her from the elderly people of the family is, you start investing, huh? Maybe after 2 or 3 years or 5 years time, you should have your own home, so you pay for your home loan and other expenses. Whereas Western culture, uh, such responsibilities people are not ready to take. For them, exploring the world, traveling, eating at various places, and enjoying the life are the important factors. So, this consumption pattern also is something which we have to take into consideration when we are understanding the economics of a particular country. Now, a healthy economy offers great opportunities for growth and development, whereas the the reverse would be, the economies are not welcoming. They are themselves are facing lots of problems because of maybe internal and external forces. So such economies are not a great idea to invest your hard earned money into. So this is what we see, or an entrepreneur should see, when he is judging the economy condition of a particular country. So after understanding the technological appraisal, or after doing technological environment understanding, economical environment and the socio-cultural environment, then comes demographic environment. Now this assesses the overall population pattern of a given geographical region. Population pattern, male, female, and kids and elderly people. Now this is how roughly we divide the population. But in demographic appraisal, we are taking into consideration the age, the profile, how many people are salaried, how many are self-employed, how many are working for NGOs, or how many people are dependent on the bread earners of the family. This is what I examine the profile of the people as. Distribution, gender, education profile, income distribution. So these are all the parameters I do demographic examination based on. Now, this appraisal or this demographic examination can help in identifying the size of target market. So basically, I'm actually doing the survey of the population in a particular given region, of a particular given region. Now, when I say that for kids garment, maybe my target audience is working ladies. Now, where I'll find the this particular target present? Obviously in metros or in tier 2 cities, because I assume that number of females who are working is more in metros and semi metros, or in tier 2 tier 1 cities. So sitting here in Pune, I cannot have my shop opened in, let's say, Greater Noida, or cannot have shop opened in Ahmedabad, but then online can be a very good platform. But this is how I understand, or this is how I do the demographic analysis. of my target audience. So where these number of ladies who are working, who are married, because sorry, who are working, who have got the family, will only do these expenses, and that is what is my target for my business. So this is how I do the demographic analysis. Government, uh, governmental analysis or governmental appraisal. Now here we actually do assess various legislations, policies, incentives, subsidies, grants, procedures which are formulated by government for a particular industry. So if the norms are softer, if the norms are, we can say, kind of flexible, it is easier for the entrepreneur to establish and run his or her business. Now, if I have lesser hurdles from the government side, hmm, chances are more that I'll open up or I'll prefer that particular government. हाँ, जैसे कि India is divided into various states. So if one state I find that lots of taxes are being charged, octroi duty बहुत भरनी होती है, more or government is also not supportive. For simple permission, I have to wait, I have to go from here and there, I have to gather information. So I believe that this particular situation or scenario is not going to help me. Whereas another state, let's say uh, state B, is quite helping in terms of, is quite helping nature. Single window clearance, lots of initiatives from government side also are being taken, and overall atmosphere is quite welcoming for new entrepreneurs. So this is how we understand the, or this is how we assess the government. So this is what roughly we can say. Wait a minute. The we can say the parts of the external environment. So what all things we have seen: socio-cultural, technological, economic, government. So these are actually the important factors which form the external environment of the business where we are going to operate ourselves. Then comes internal environment. Now these are the, these form the internal environment of the business. So internal environment, as I said, we are going to understand the strengths and weaknesses roughly. So raw material, production, finance, human resource is what forms the internal uh, environmental part of our business. Raw material. So when we are understanding the internal environment, the raw material which we require for our business or for our venture, we should assess whether the raw material which we require is available easily now and in future as well. Whatever raw material we require, we need to see to it that it is available, it should be available easily, and not in current scenario but in future cases as well, it should be available in appropriate quantities. If the availability is less or going to be less in future, then we should give a second thought before establishing the venture, as afterwards shifting or making such strategic changes becomes difficult. We have this example of nano, production of nano, which was being shifted from West Bengal to another, from Gujarat to West Bengal, or vice versa. I don't remember, recollect right now. But this is how afterwards making such changes is difficult. So we should carefully analyze the supply of raw material for current situation as well as in future uh, course of time as well. Production and operation. It assesses the availability of various machines, equipments, tools, and techniques that would be required for production and operation. So basically, we are taking into consideration the various factors of production like machines or equipments and tools what we require for production. So we are giving a thought, we are understanding the production and operations assessment also in the internal environment. Then comes finance. Guys, 1 second. Yeah, so we are understanding the finance, where we are assessing the total requirements of finance in terms of how much expenses are incurred while starting up, what all fixed assets, fixed expenses or the working expenses, जो कि everyday business running के लिए required होते हैं. So fixed and running expenses, how much I have to be ready with. So I am assessing the financial angle of my business as well. How much money I have to invest in the beginning, fixed assets में कितना invest करना है. This finance assessment also indicates the sources of finance that can be approached for funding. So when I'm understanding the requirement, the financial requirement, if at all I fall short of some amount of money, then I also need to take into consideration various sources of such finance. So that is why these incentives and subsidies and grants and concessions required for an entrepreneur to assess when he is understanding the financial requirements of his business. Then comes human resource. It assesses the kind of human resource, man, part of factors of production. This M, part of factors of production required, and its demand and supply in the market. So what kind of human resources required? Maybe skilled one or semi-skilled, or I require professionals, or I require consultants, I require full-time employees, or maybe part-time. So type of employment, type of human resources are being assessed here, and how much they are available, how much, if it is a labor driven business, then how much laborers are available, skilled kitne hai, semi skilled kitne hai, are they easily available, or if I have to find out an agency who will supply, jaise construction workers hote hain, they, once the project is over, they such workers or laborers, they shift to another construction site. So there are agencies who supply such laborers. So I need to find out who those agencies are, and are these laborers available easily in the area where I am going to start my operations. So after assessing this, it basically helps in estimating the cost and level of competition in hiring and retaining the human resources. So by assessing my requirement, human resource requirement, I am actually finding out the kind of competition in getting the skilled or semi-skilled or unskilled people involved. And also I'm trying to find out how much I have to expend on these human resource cost. So that is what we do, or an entrepreneur does, in internal environmental scanning. So we have understood till now, we have done preliminary investigation, idea generation, and environmental scanning. As I said, environmental scanning, we are understanding things which are out of our control and things which are beyond, are within our control. So we are understanding in this way the environment. So after understanding the environment, after knowing this scenario, after knowing the government policies, after knowing the financial options available, after understanding the target market, how socially and culturally it is, then comes feasibility analysis. Feasibility study is done to find whether the proposed project would be feasible or not. Considering the environments, we are understanding whether it would be feasible to start working or not. So this judgment or this discussion is being done in feasibility analysis. Now, this is important to demarcate the environmental appraisal and feasibility study at this point, because environmental appraisal is carried out to assess the internal and external environment, whereas feasibility study is carried out to assess the feasibility of the project itself. So what we are trying to say here is that environmental scanning, though you are understanding the environment, but then you are understanding whether the project will be successful in that environment or not. So in external and internal environment assessment is what we have done in the previous step. Whereas feasibility analysis is actually done to understand whether it is feasible, whether it is possible to carry out business in such environment. पहली step में we understood what the environment is, how the environment is. Next step में feasibility analysis में we are studying whether it is possible to carry out business in such environment or not. So we are understanding the environment also, and we are checking the feasibility of our project here. Hence, through feasibility study, it would be dependent on environmental appraisal, and it is little bit descriptive in nature. So feasibility report ka or feasibility analysis ka environmental scanning is definitely part, but feasibility analysis is a more wider term compared to environmental scanning. So feasibility analysis includes further things like we are understanding the market, okay. So in feasibility analysis, we are understanding the market. We are also understanding in feasibility analysis the technical or operational side. We are also understanding the availability of material. We are also doing the planning of required material. We are also doing what kind of technology we are going to use and analysis of that particular chosen technology. We are studying the location of the plant. Machinery and equipment is also something which is considered in feasibility analysis, along with financially feasibility of the project. We are also drawing the marketing plans, and we are also taking care of production and operation plan, organizational plan. So this is what roughly is feasibility report or feasibility analysis. Let us complete few part of feasibility analysis because lot more things to finish. So as I said, feasibility analysis includes many things other than or along with the external analysis. This includes some things in detail. जैसे कि हम हमारे प्लांट एंड मशीनरी के बारे में सोच we are checking the feasibility. We are also checking the feasibility of the layout of the plant. We are also checking the feasibility of the market which we are going to cater to. So it's a descriptive or a wider term compared to environmental scanning. So what do we do in market analysis? We are estimating the demand of the proposed product or the service which we intend to begin with in the future. So we are estimating the demand. We are also estimating the market share. So when we are understanding these 2 points, we are basically finding out the answers to who my customers would be, the present customers and the prospective customers. When I find out the customers, I can find out how much money I can generate through my customers, and this is how I can estimate the market share of the proposed product. What would be the future and present demand? how is demand distributed geographically. जैसे कि for example consumption of spices. Now suppose you are dealing or you are starting your venture into spices. Now we observe that um, let's say towards the north, maybe consumption of garam masala would be higher compared to south, where consumption of sambar masala would be higher, because this is how the geographical difference is. Maybe if we go to same spices ka example, if we continue, maybe red chili would be something which is consumed across India. So this is how I should understand how the demand is distributed geographically. And this is what we do in market analysis. This is what an entrepreneur is supposed to do, the market analysis. Then comes technical or operational analysis. Again, now in marketing analysis, sorry, we are also there to find out how much price the consumer is willing to pay. So pricing factor is also something we have to take into consideration. And marketing mix of the competitor. If we take the same example of spices, I should take into consideration the marketing mix of the competitor. How my competitors are dealing, how they are coming up with newer variants in the spices market. So this is what I do, this is what an entrepreneur does in market analysis. Then comes technical or operational analysis. Now this is done to assess the operational ability of the proposed business enterprise. Operational ability meaning we are understanding the operational side of our business. Like we are understanding, if this spices business, if we have to continue the example, then what technology I require, what kind of grinders, industrial grinders I require, how the storage of it would be done, how the packaging and labeling would be done, what all permissions do I need to take, food and drug administration करके जो organizations होते हैं who deal with such certifications. So their permission, how should I go for ISO certification. So this is actually the technical and operational side of the entrepreneurial venture. So what technology I should make use of, what equipments I use to carry out the operations, from where this technology and equipments can be obtained. So I try to find out answer for all these questions when I'm doing technical or operational analysis. Now, to find these answers, I have other, we can say, parameters to examine so that we can find answers to the above questions. So such parameters are material availability. It is important to assess the availability of raw material required for production of the proposed goods or services which you intend to deal with. So I need to check whether the material is available in enough quantities, the kind of quality and quantity which I require of the raw material, the factors on which the availability of raw material is dependent on. So such things I consider in material availability, which is part of the technical and the operational analysis. We are yet to finish with technical and operational analysis, as 3-4 points are remaining. I guess we'll complete with those with this technical analysis, and we'll begin with the next part in next session. So along with material, I also need to plan the requirement. So this material requirement planning, MRP जिसको बोलते हैं, it is undertaken to analyze the quantity of material that would be required to let the production run smoothly. So I need to find out the daily production. I need to find out the daily production and daily consumption of raw material to meet the daily production requirement. So accordingly, I need to plan the requirement of material. So from whom I would be sourcing, in what quantities I would be sourcing, how much stock of inventories should I maintain. So all these things I need to give a thorough thought of. Then analysis of choice of technology. So what kind of technology you wish to intend, from where you are going to import, or from where you are going to source the required machines, the required machinery. I need to also take into consideration in analyzing this choice of technology, the kind of, we can say, the capacity of the plant, capacity of my plant, then amount which I have to invest in formulating that plan, availability of technology, kind of technology which is available, the cost of production, then the latest developments which are taking place, and also the kind of, we can say, quantity of plant production. So all these things I am taking into consideration when I am analyzing the technology which I am going to use. Also, the location of the plant, whether it is in close proximity to the raw material and to the market, what are the government policies in that particular location, how is the infrastructure available in terms of water, maybe transport, then power, means of communication. So such things I take into consideration while doing the, or while understanding the, or selecting the location of the plant. Machines and equipments which is dependent on the, which is dependent on your capacity, your everyday's production, the availability of raw material. So this is what technology or operational analysis I do in while carrying out the feasibility analysis. So we are stopping here for our today's session. Any doubts you have, let me know. We'll continue with the financial feasibility in our tomorrow's session. Have a great day and stay safe. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.